Let's start with our first news. Merab coach John Wood revealed in an interview with Home Fight that Yan has been confirmed as the next opponent for Merab, and they are only waiting for the time and date. According to Wood, Merab is the kind of fighter who would step into the cage tomorrow if called, with no hesitation and complete readiness. He explained that it does not matter if he is injured, broken nose, or exhausted, he will still fight at any moment. At this point, the team is simply waiting for Yan to finalize the timing and date for the fight agreement. Meanwhile, John Wood also coaches Gina Carano and spoke about her recent performance and future in MMA. Despite her quick loss, he believes she still has the ability to compete with many fighters at a high level. He added that she returned not for money, but for personal reasons, and has found a renewed love for fighting. He also suggested there is already activity behind the scenes, and that she may choose to fight again soon. If given the right matchups, he believes she could deliver entertaining fights and still secure wins against suitable opponents. He also compared her situation to Ronda Rousey, suggesting that fighters often feel an empty space after stepping away. Overall, he expressed that he would personally like to see her return for another focused training camp and fight. He believes there is a higher chance she comes back than not, and the decision ultimately remains with her. No headings or questions remain, and the situation continues to develop behind the scenes in the MMA world. The fight talks between Merab and Yan continue building anticipation across the UFC division as fans await official announcement from organization soon now. Move on to another news at the start. Dana White just confirmed that the UFC already has backup plans in place for practically every possible issue surrounding the upcoming White House event. With the historic card expected to be held in an open-air setup, fans have been questioning how the UFC plans to handle weather conditions and other logistical problems, and Dana says they've already thought through all of it. According to White, the biggest concern is lightning, since the venue will not have a roof. He emphasized that the UFC already has solutions prepared and contingency plans ready if storms or lightning become an issue on fight night. Another surprisingly big topic discussed was the amount of gnats and moths in the area surrounding the venue. Dana acknowledged that insects could absolutely become a factor under the lights during the event, especially at night, but once again insisted the UFC is already working on ways to minimize the problem and make sure it doesn't impact the fights or broadcast experience. We have to worry about the weather, right? How cold is it? Is it too hot? Is it too muggy? Does it rain? The only thing that can really crush us is lightning. You know, everybody, you all have kids that have played soccer or whatever. As soon as lightning hits, shut it down. It's a wrap. Everybody's got to go hide, and then you can't go. So if lightning happens that night, we'll wait out the lightning until it goes away, and we'll do the show a little bit later, or however that plays out. Hopefully, none of that happens. The other problem that I always think about, especially on the East Coast bugs, so the amount of gnats that were flying around, I'm like, holy. As soon as I got on the plane, I called my head of production and said, yeah, let me tell you about the gnat situation tonight. Despite all of these concerns, Dana White made it clear that the UFC is fully prepared with multiple contingency plans in place for the White House event, ensuring the show can continue safely even if unexpected issues arise during fight night planning and production. Ultimately, the goal remains to deliver a smooth, historic event without interruptions while adapting quickly to any situation that comes up on fight night. Move on to another news at the start. Joe Pyfer versus Borralho is being discussed as a potential CHO main event for UFC 330. Recently, Borralho told AG Fight that this matchup against Pyfer is possible, and the idea is gaining attention inside the middleweight division. From a rankings perspective, the fight makes strong sense, with Borralho sitting at number 4 and Pyfer ranked number 6. Pyfer earned his position after a major win over Israel Adesanya in March, which boosted his standing in the division and pushed him closer to elite contenders. This potential matchup is seen as a high-stakes clash between two rising contenders looking to break into title contention. Borralho is known for his consistent performances and tactical approach, while Pyfer has been building momentum with aggressive finishes and strong confidence inside the cage. If booked for UFC 330, the fight could play a major role in shaping the future of the middleweight top 5. Pyfer's rise has been rapid, and his win over Israel Adesanya added significant weight to his resume. Meanwhile, Borralho continues to position himself as one of the most technical and well-rounded fighters in the division, making this a classic-style matchup on paper. At this stage, nothing has been officially confirmed, but both sides appear open to the fight, and discussions continue to build momentum as UFC 330 approaches. The matchup remains one of the most talked-about possibilities for the card, with fans and analysts debating how the styles would clash inside the octagon. Analysts believe this fight could determine the next title challenger in the division, especially if either fighter delivers a statement performance. The UFC has been actively looking to build fresh contenders at middleweight, and this matchup fits perfectly into that direction, with both athletes bringing finishing ability and pressure into every exchange inside the cage. At the moment, fans are waiting for an official announcement as UFC 330 continues to take shape, with many expecting this matchup to be confirmed soon as negotiations progress behind the scenes. Both fighters are seen as key figures in the division's future, and this potential co-main event slot adds even more significance to their rising profiles, making UFC 330 one of the most anticipated cards of the year in the middleweight division landscape. And the bout continues to generate strong discussion among fans and media alike across the MMA community worldwide attention. Move on to another news at the start. DDP is back in action fairly soon. Du Plessis has not competed since he was defeated by Kamzatina Wrestling Clinic TFC 319 last August. The one-sided decision loss ended his Ray Nass champion, where he defended the middleweight belt against Sean Strickland and Israel. Decennia more recently, DDP announced through Fight Forecast that his next fight will be announced soon. Speaking directly, he said within the next week or so my next fight, an opponent will be announced. Can't wait to share the news. It's about time we get back in the Rousseau. Who could DD face? Next, interestingly, Kamaru Usman posted pictures of him training along with the message's second wind. Coming as previously discussed, there has been growing talk that UFC is targeting DDP Usman earlier this year. Usman revealed that the UFC had asked him about fighting Du Plessis when he was targeting a fight with Islam Makhachev. Meanwhile, DDP also spoke on Fight Forecast stating that Khamzat has lost this aura after his last performance and added that his weight cut has become a major talking point in the division. DP believes the landscape of the middleweight division is shifting rapidly and sees multiple new challengers rising at the top level. While Hep prepares for his return, the UFC has not officially confirmed his opponent, but insiders suggest that negotiations are already underway for a major comeback fight on a high-profile card. The promotion is expected to finalize details soon, as anticipation builds across the middleweight division. Fans are closely watching developments as DP prepares for a potential return against data-pranked opponent, which could have major implications for the title picture. The match up with us men remains some of the most discussed possibilities within the division due to both fighters' elite status and contrasting styles. Analysts believe this fight could determine the next contender for the championship, as both athletes bring experience and finishing ability into the cage. The UFC continues to build excitement around the middleweight division. As new storylines emerged, DP expected to make a statement upon his return, while fans await official confirmation of his next opponent and event placement as the division continues. USDO evolve with rising tension across contenders across the middleweight landscape moving forward quickly. And move on to another news at the start. Ilia has made shocking claims about Arman and his father, suggesting that the image of wealth being shown online is not real. Ilia has accused Arman of presenting a lifestyle that looks extremely wealthy, saying many fans believe he is living like a billionaire based on social media appearances. We see him in streams and videos, and it gives the impression of luxury cars, expensive travel, and constant high-level spending. But Ilia insists this is only a carefully built image. He has the mind of a kid, a man-child playing a game, Ilia said, claiming Arman is acting rich, but is neither rich nor is his father. He added that in his experience, truly wealthy people do not behave this way, and they do not constantly try to show off assets for attention. Ilia further claimed that Arman is involved in buying cars and sending them to Russia to resell, suggesting it is more of a business trick than real luxury ownership. He went even further, stating that the entire image is exaggerated and not reflective of real financial status, calling it a performance for cameras. The comments have sparked debate online, with fans divided over whether Arman is genuinely wealthy or simply presenting a curated persona for social media attention. As the discussion continues, Ilia's remarks have added fuel to the rivalry narrative and intensified conversation around Arman's public image. Meanwhile, Arman has not responded directly, and the situation remains a major talking point in the MMA community. Analysts believe this kind of public exchange only increases attention around both fighters and adds more intensity to any potential future matchup inside the octagon. Ilia's comments continue to circulate widely across social platforms, with supporters and critics debating whether the claims are factual or exaggerated for entertainment value. Regardless, The situation has become another viral MMA storyline, keeping Arman and Ilia at the center of online discussion. It also highlights how quickly narratives can spread in modern combat sports, where social media reactions often shape public perception more than official statements from fighters or teams. Fans continue to analyze every detail, from training clips to lifestyle posts, looking for clues about what is real and what is exaggerated in the ongoing rivalry between these rising names in the division. Overall, the discussion keeps growing as Ilia's remarks ensure Arman remains one of the most talked about fighters in the current MMA landscape without any sign of slowing down. Now, move on to another news at the start. Carlos Prates has revealed what he believes are UFC plans surrounding Islam Makhachev and the welterweight title picture. Prates has been aggressively pushing for a title shot, and now he claims he is confident his next fight will be for the UFC welterweight belt, regardless of what happens in the division's top matchup. Immediately after Prates defeated Jack Della Maddalena on the UFC card in Perth, Australia earlier this month, he called for the winner of a potential Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary fight. Although the bout has not been officially announced, it is expected to take place on August 15th in Philadelphia. Prates has now doubled down on his belief that he is next in line for the title opportunity. More recently, Prates spoke with Ariel Helwani, where he stated that he has already had conversations with UFC officials. According to him, those discussions have made him very confident that he will be the next fighter in line for a title shot. He also suggested that the UFC may not be interested in an immediate rematch if Makhachev loses his belt in that fight. "I don't think they're going to do a rematch if Makhachev loses," Prates said. "I talk with them after my fight. Of course, we talk about some things I cannot say, but I really think I will be next, no matter who wins between Islam and Ian Gary." When asked about waiting for the title opportunity, Prates made it clear he is comfortable with the timing. He explained that the extra time would benefit him physically and mentally, allowing him to recover from injuries, improve his skills, and grow as a fighter before competing for the belt. He stated that even if the title shot takes longer, he will be more prepared when the opportunity arrives. This situation is notable given that Michael Morales is also positioned as a rising contender, remaining undefeated in his professional career. Meanwhile, Prates previously suffered a loss to Ian Gary earlier in April, adding another layer of debate around the title picture. However, the UFC often prioritizes recent momentum, and Morales has also been inactive in 2026 so far. During the interview, Prates also discussed his long-term vision for becoming champion and what he intends to do once he captures the UFC welterweight title, showing full confidence in his path toward the top of the division as the welterweight landscape continues to shift rapidly behind the scenes. Move on to another news at the start. Nate Diaz has been heavily criticized and roasted for his horrible performance against Mike Perry. Leading into the MVP Netflix card, Diaz had repeatedly claimed he would defeat Perry and then continue his push for a rubber match with Conor McGregor. However, those plans fell apart after he failed to make it into the third round, as he was left badly damaged and bloodied during the fight. Following the event, Brendan Schaub made it clear on his podcast that he believes the UFC door is now permanently closed for Diaz. He stated that Diaz looked so bad in the fight that there is no chance the UFC will ever bring him back. According to Schaub, Diaz had everything at stake in that matchup, especially his hopes of securing a third fight with McGregor. But the performance completely destroyed that possibility. He looked so bad that the UFC is never paying for that again, Schaub said. Not a chance. You are not going to get Conor Diaz 3 now. That is out the window. That is what was at stake for Nate that night. He looked so bad that the UFC is just not in that business anymore. They are not in the Nate Diaz business anymore. He messed that up. It is also important to note that Diaz and Schaub have a history of public disagreements, which adds another layer to the criticism. Diaz and his supporters have pointed to an injured finger suffered in the opening round, as well as a serious cut, as key reasons his performance suffered during the fight. They argue that these injuries significantly impacted his ability to compete at his usual level. Despite that, even many of Diaz's fans acknowledge that the buzz surrounding a potential third fight with Conor McGregor has taken a major hit. What was once one of the most anticipated trilogies in combat sports now appears far less likely, as doubts grow about Diaz's future in the UFC and whether he will ever return to that stage again at the highest level of competition moving forward.